You're listening to Inside the Minds podcast with Dante Marsh and Ryan Hyde, where we talk about sports, life, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about.
31-yard penalty to support pass interference call against the Lions this year. Curly into the hands, and there's Dante Marsh with the block. And it's going to be a pick six for the veteran. 29th career interception. Almost on cue. 80-yard return for the 10-year veteran.
So I am humbled and I'm excited for our guest this evening. 1996 Olympic gold medal winner in the triple jump. Could still dunk on your daddy. Jump out the gym. Mr. Kenny Harrison, man, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. What a blessing this is, man, to see one of my babies. I'm sorry for people who he looks like an adult, but he's one of my babies. So I appreciate being here. Definitely.
Oh yeah. Let's get into it. So real quick, I met you in Teaspoon, 22 years ago.
Correct.
Over at the Palladium in Alameda, California, in the Bay Area.
Yep.
Was out of football, trying to rehab my shoulder and get myself back together after spending a year with the Tennessee Titans. The agent that I had at the time brought me over there and introduced me to y'all, and we put it together ever since. I learned so much from you guys, mentally, spiritually, and physically, to enable me to play till I was 35 years old, professional football. And all the stuff that you guys taught me is a major part of my makeup today and what I've been doing for the last decade since I retired. It's training, started my own training business, coaching, junior college football, and mentoring these young kids. And if I haven't ever told you, I appreciate y'all a lot. I appreciate you 1,000%.
You blessed us all the time with respect and giving back.
So that's I had to let you know that if I haven't never let you know recently since we've been talking again that you've been a major part of who I've become as a man.
It was such a blessing to see somebody who is actually willing to work hard, and we did have so many people at our facility that worked so hard. And what is a blessing is to watch like the longevity of everyone that was at the clinic. And that to me was a reflection on they really were getting it, because you didn't just come to get a quick fix. You weren't there to win fast. Your longevity, who you are as a person, is a reflection on just passion first, but then also believing in yourself and the desire of the people who are trying to help and support you, not talking at you, but talking with you to understand the difference between a coach and somebody who is trying to figure out a way to make you happy at the same time.
So let's start from the beginning. So,
okay.
By the way, the likes of the people that, you guys were training, Charles Woodson, Kevin Barlow, Marcus Trupont, Sammy Parker,
Aaron Rodgers,
like the list is long, man. We have a crew in. So can you take us back to the beginning? So early life and what got you in the track and field?
I think it was just a natural progression because my brothers were amazing athletes as well. And my dad was an amazing athlete. And I'll give props to my dad. He was a pro bowler back in the day, rolling 300 games like it was nobody's business. And he was 6'8", 6'3.5", 6'4", a giant guy, and I was like the mutt of the family. So watching these guys, prosper, whether they're in college, whether they were going to the pro level, they were amazing athletes. So in order to actually just be in the family, you had to pick something that you were really good at, or you thought you were good at. Because, funny story, my brothers would not allow me to hit the backboard until I was, 10, 11 years old? They would slap it across the street. All my uncles, all that stuff, they would slap it across the street because they were all 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'5". So in order for me to actually play with them, I had to figure out how I'm going to dunk. How can I dunk a basketball so it takes the shooting part out of the game? I can just go to the basket and dunk on them. So I took it upon myself to learn different drills, to be a better basketball player. So to be a better jumper, to be able to leave the ground faster and more aggressive than my uncles. And learning that stuff on my own, I figured out a lot of different drills. From that, I figured out, man, track and field, there's no coaches. You just get to do your thing. You get to just go perform and show your ASS of how good you are, and respect to anybody else. But you are responsible completely for your accomplishments or your complete failure of your lack of accomplishment. Yeah. So that's where I started in high school. And I've always loved all sports, basketball, football, baseball, doesn't matter what game it is. But I really just respected the fact that track and field, the tape measure and the stopwatch doesn't dictate, it actually dictates how great you are. Coach can't ever tell me I can't play, even though I'm better than 90% of the people on the team. So when you have that kind of freedom to see how great you can be and our God-given ability, that's what I try to present to people, whether it's in business, whether it's anywhere. Just, you have to be responsible for the things that you do.
Yeah, because it takes out the variables, the outside variables, because it's just you and that stopwatch. You're running against that time, or
time and tape measure. Time and tape measure.
So in regards to jumping, it's the tape measure. It's just you and that. And then, because I'm, as you know, I'm from the town. So you know, Milwaukee. I've never been to Wisconsin. Can you tell me about Wisconsin?
I think when I go out to get, let's go. We're about to get this started. Where I grew up, most people always assume that you have to be great because you had to get out of the hood in order to be great. And for me, people are like, where you come from? It's like Brookfield, Wisconsin. It's like the Beverly Hills of Wisconsin. And they're like, well, why did you have that kind of drive you have now? Because if you weren't in need of anything, then what was your focus to be as good as you become over the years? And to me, I don't know where that comes from. And that's how I was just addressed by people. What's the speech? It's going to be that you're from the hood, you did this, and you have problems, and blah, blah, blah. Or you're out there rolling people for money. I was like, no, bro. I was in Brookfield. I was out in the backyard figuring out drills of how to jump further or dunk a basketball. Everybody in my community was amazing, very supportive, all that stuff. I kind of almost feel guilty because when I see people talking with, like the interviews we have currently with the athletes saying, we have to struggle, we have to do this to get there, and blah, blah, blah. I was a little bit different. I didn't have to do that struggle. But my desire to be the number one in the history of the world, nobody can understand that. But where I grew up, they appreciated it. And they appreciated me and supportive of me. So I always give them a shout out anytime of where I grew up and appreciate not only the quality of life, but also to be humble, to let people know that you're respected in anything you do, but you're going to automatically have the desire to be the best that you can be, no matter what your environment is. And when I'm watching the Olympics, I just reflect back on my family and the support and the community and all that other stuff, and my college and everything else that brought you to this level. And it's never been a time that you can ever say, oh, I did this, I did that, I did this. It's like you're fortunate to be able to, compete at such a high level. Mm-hmm. So
I kind of take the fortunate out of it, not in an arrogant way, but
yeah.
As athletes, we work our ass off for so many years. And I know it's even more critical when you're an Olympian because you're on the pro circuit and then it's every 4. So I know it's a lot different, but I say that to say, I don't really buy into you're so fortunate. No, I bust my ass.
Well, that's where why I love you and all the people we work with, but you in general, we try to share busting your ass every day. Mm-hmm. Not trying to break you, not trying to do that. People have to show up. I don't like people who want to come in and show up whenever they want. You have to really desire it. You really have to be that person that really wants it for themselves, no matter what level you come from. And you were mentioning being an Olympian. The Olympian, to me, that's overrated. Being the greatest athlete and the best person you can be is more important to me than being an Olympic champion. And that's why we're probably having this conversation right now, because we remain those kind of people.
You've always been that person. I know for me, I have experience dealing with you for a long time, knowing you for that long. Like I said, I'm not. This ain't no bullshit. Like you and Thomas, for me, I'm telling you, I had that aha moment. Like the stuff y'all used to say to me, us,
right.
I'd be like, huh? And it was like some next level shit, right?
Yeah.
As a young 21, 22, 23-year-old. Now, fast forward, I'm 45 years old, and I'm become what y'all were to me, to these younger people. And it's like, God damn, I sound like Kenny Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's the impact. And I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff that I implemented in my day-to-day shit on how I train my athletes and coach them, it stems a lot from the spiritual, mental, and physical y'all mindset that y'all taught me. Like, you could do this. This is you can do this. It's here. And just the way you presented it when we showed up at Alameda Beach, when we showed up at the Y downtown Oakland, when we showed up at the Palladium on the base, or we showed up at Strawberry Canyon above Cat. Where we went, it was game time. Like, I can do this. And the way y'all did it was like, it wasn't blowing smoke up somebody's ass. That was trash, do it again. But you were still motivating, even though you breaking us down and building us back up. It's hard for me to explain to someone you had to be there. Like, these were gems 20-something years ago that have stuck with me to this day and that I actually implement into what I do. So it was phenomenal. I'm not even gonna lie. The shit was real.
And I will add on to that. It was just like, to me, it's like a pleasure. It's not like you're bigger than, like, people always say gold medalists. When you see all the current Olympians, they'll talk about me. This is what I did. This is what I can do. My man Noah Lyles, which is amazing. It's all about, like, I'm that dude. But when you're able to see somebody and not have to, like I said, I want to talk with you when I'm working with you, because I see the energy you give to people. And the energy you give is the information I can bring to you. Because a lot of times I can't tell everybody, you got to run the hill with some passion and you got to do this, and they're going to understand what I mean by that passion. Right. The verbiage is coming out, but they don't understand the same thing. Right. But I think because of the communication, without like trying to talk over your head, like I'm a boss, I'm like, I'm that dude. Hey, what's up, bro? What are you doing today? what you got? Are you ready today? Because it's going to be miserable, but what you got today? And it's almost like a father-son kind of thing or whatever. But at the same time, we can demonstrate it at the same time as old men. and then, and then expect for you to hopefully duplicate that. If somebody's making $5 million a year, you can't leave practice. And that old man over there just whoop your butt in all the drills you were doing.
So,
changes the dynamic.
To your point, that when I say a lot of the stuff I learned from you guys is prevalent in my stuff today, I take that. That's like, I was the guy that, man, if I was to ever coach or train, this is when I was still playing. I don't want to be the 300-pound former DB talking about back in my day. I used to, the kid looking at you like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah,
I'm not listening to you.
I'm not listening to you. So the thing with me was, okay, I'm still going to train. And I remember y'all told me this. We were having a conversation about the treadmill. And I asked a question about a certain former Olympian woman sprinter. And y'all was like, hey, man, hey, when you done, you never done. You got to keep training. So I've kept that with me. So I'm able to do these things at my age and people can't believe it. But it was like the reason why I stayed doing it, trying to stay in some shape so I can be able to demonstrate those things, right? Because these young athletes today are different. They whatever, and then you got to show them. So I really appreciate that because the people don't know you was up there in age still.
We were giving people the business, and it was only a lesson, but it was part of the learning process because I was always a person that I've never had like a coach in college, high school, everybody, every level to pro, to Olympics. Never said, where's your coach? I don't have one of those because I'm so motivated. I don't need somebody to wake me up in the morning to get ready. So when we are out on the field or we're doing footwork drills or we're doing explosive drills, if I can't show you, then we could just go read that in a book and then you'll maybe believe it or not, and you won't get the visual level of what it actually takes to get to this level. So for me, demonstration was a huge part of working with athletes, and it still is today. As a 59, 60-year-old man, I'm still going to give people the business, and I'm going to give them the business badly.
Yeah. So who was your biggest inspiration growing up in the beginning?
Biggest inspiration behind Muhammad Ali, because he was such an intellect at just beating your beating your ass, but talking it, but doing it with like if cameras weren't on him, he would beat you and you wouldn't know it, but he was that type of dude. He didn't have to brag about it. He just could do it. So I would say that, and then it would be my dad second. So those are my two most amazing, of course, my mom and dad, but that's my biggest inspiration. And my drive and desire came within, because everybody always told me I was too small to be a world-class athlete, even though I was dunking on people and pros and stuff in high school. They still claimed that I was not going to be good enough or tall enough to be able to compete at the highest level. And my motivation comes through that with my parents and like I said, Muhammad Ali.
Do you still have records at your high school or at K-State?
I still have all the records for high school and Kansas State. I have a stadium at Brookville Central High School named after myself. And I still hold those records for over 25 years. So
wow.
That's how I judge people. I don't judge people on the fact that you win a race, but like the longevity of what you've done and the progression of what you take. So my progression is always consistent. So if I'm working with a little kid, they know that I've been an AAU champion. Then when I'm working with a high school kid, they know I'm state champion or national record holder in the state or in America. And then they know, wow, they go up and they go, oh, you're an NCAA champion? Yes, I am. And then you go on to the next level. Oh, you're USA champion, you're world champion. But the progressions were natural and gradual. So for me, I don't care if you win 9 gold medals. I don't care if you win 5. Because the presence of just the passion that I had to put in as a short little guy, the passion that I had to put in, I couldn't be on like a social media to be talking on there and saying what I'm going to do or what I'm not doing. That was 24 hours a day job for me to get to that level, world-class level, whatever it was, high school, everything else, to do something that I believed in that dramatically. People used to say, you're crazy. Of course. Okay. But that's the kind of desire I have to have. I'm not 6'6". I can't walk down and dunk a basketball at 6'6". You got to get off the ground and put some explosive power in there at 5'9" and 5'10". So for me, those kind of progressions were the most important things.
Would you say that your drive was unmatched, and that is why you ascended to the heights that you ascended to?
I believe that wholeheartedly. But with that, I think that if I could do it at my height and size, your drive and the never quit mentality and just that kind of personal drive, I think anybody can do it. That's why I'm passionate about helping other athletes. And what I see in them and their gifts that they actually have, everybody can ascend to that level, in my opinion. But you're gonna have to sacrifice so much. You're gonna have to sacrifice that. A lot of things, personal, birthdays, Christmas, weddings. I've been the best man at 4 weddings, and I couldn't show up for none of them because I had to go to practice for myself, and I'm self-coached. So there's lots of things I missed out on that I feel bad for, but at the same time, I wouldn't be able to ascend to that level that I think people take for granted. Like, oh, you want a gold medal? Yay. Breakdancing, you want a gold medal? Oh, that's not the same thing.
No, absolutely.
You can't have a job, in my opinion, and beat me at the same time.
No.
You can't even afford to train at the level every day for 12 hours a day to beat a person like me with my kind of drive and desire. There's nowhere you're going to beat me. Mm-hmm. But we have to create these cool new games that people can play, that everybody can play in. And not everybody's allowed to go play the NFL. They pick and choose. You're not going there where they pick and choose, and you got to be that dude. Yeah. And it's not to say that not for me. I say the NFL, if you include everybody for real, I would watch the league every day. If they include you all day, every day, that will be the coolest league to watch, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. You know, because if you have a record in track and field, if you were out in the streets or homeless or whatever, you have an opportunity to run fast. Nobody's holding you out. Just go out there, run in the track meet, and you can show how good you are. Yeah. You can't do that in football or basketball or baseball. You already got their predetermined group, how we do it. You need these people. Don't laugh right now. In baseball, how come they have the most handsome dudes in baseball? Because it attracts more people in the audience. Yeah. When there's so many people out there playing, but I have never seen an ugly baseball player.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I have either.
I won't say one, but I won't say his name. But yeah, but it's so watered down in track and field or one-on-one competitions with no judges, no anything. You're going to see people who are not like commercialized looking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that brings me to this. Okay. Can you talk to us about some of your experience in regards to because a lot of people don't know this. Like, this is another reason why we created this platform, giving current and former athletes a platform to show the masses they're more than just what they did in sport. You can speak about politics. We're fathers, we're husbands, we're brothers, we're sons. We are actual
human beings.
Yeah, human beings, but productive members of society that actually have a brain. It's not shut up and dribble. So that's another reason why we me and Ryan created this. Well, he created this, and him and I did a podcast during COVID, and then it turned into us doing the show together. So
right.
That's what this was. That's kind of the vision. So could you talk to us about, in between the 4 years for the Olympics, you have to, you're on the pro circuit. So in order for you to make money, because you obviously can't get up and go to a job every day to be at that level, sponsorships is a big thing.
Yes.
So can you kind of explain how that works and the ins and outs of that?
I will. Can I get gritty a little bit?
I want you to talk to us, baby.
Okay, let's get gritty. When you become a world champion as a Black man that can speak the King's English, you can speak the King's English, you are looked at differently. You're looked at more as a threat as opposed to being a positive role model to the community. So it's very difficult for you to get the sponsorships that are necessary. It's very difficult. It is very difficult. And you have to be so good. I mean, you have to be the best in the world. This is why I bring this up. You have to not only be the best in the world, you have to be the best in the history of the world. So for me, I beat everybody in the world championships, right? But at the same time, sponsors would say, well, this guy back in the day, he did this. I was like, okay, well, I'll beat that. And then they're like, okay, well, you're still not good enough for us to put you as a major sponsor. Like, let's say I won't bring titles. Well, Coca-Cola or anybody else, when you're better than everybody else at what you do. So you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I get sponsorships when you're doing everything that people ask you to do at the highest level, and they still do not receive you as somebody they will sponsor? And my coaches, mind you, they were the heads of Nike in college, the CEO or the head marketing director of Nike. One of my friends and my second dad, he was head, and he said, we're not going to give you a contract. Even after being Olympic champion, after being world champion, after winning everything in track and field history, for world titles and number one in the world for multiple years, they still said, no, we're going in a different direction. And to me, that was a difficult pill to swallow. So I had to retire. I didn't want to retire when I was 35 years old. I didn't want to retire. And you know me. You know where I can go as far as jumping is concerned at older ages, from all the way to 40. And it was financially not viable, and sponsors weren't out there for you.
How does that happen though? I don't understand. Like, I'm not being ignorant to the fact. I know what you're saying, but I don't think that sounds crazy to me, that a person at that level can, because in today's world, you ain't got to do shit, and they
no
money.
They just give you, if you got 4,500 followers, or if you can get on there and have 1 million followers, and then go to the track meet, or go to a basketball game, or go to this place, people will give you money, and money's not even a big deal, but you got to be on the same playing field. If you're going to give this person this, you got to give this person that earns this, right? And in my opinion, if you're going to give somebody something, whoever earns it should be reciprocated.
Thanks.
My great thing is that I had great parents that I could struggle like with sponsorships, and they still will have my back. Unique situation. And also my girlfriend at the time was Gail Devers, and she was killing it with sponsorships, and she was never world champion before I was world champion. So it's unique kind of scenarios like that that people don't understand how hard you work to be the greatest with how it is today of what you don't have to be the greatest to pretend like you're the greatest, if that makes sense.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I was having this conversation with one of my players at the junior college level. I'm saying, you guys, everybody talks about wanting to go D1. I don't think y'all actually understand the seriousness of that statement or what all it entails. I think they just say it because it's just a cliche. It's the thing to say. They like you said, they want to look like they the guy, but they don't really want to put in the work to actually be the guy. So it's a perception versus reality, Twitter guy versus real life person. So I'm trying to get the young people to understand, yo, look, when I was getting recruited out of high school in the 90s, there was no internet. There was no cell phone unless you had a brick, but we had bloopers, pagers.
You had reel to reel back in the day.
VHS highlight tape, right? So if a coach really wanted to, he thought you had something, they actually either flew or if they was close, drove. They came to that school to see you in person, shake your hand, touch on your traps, you know that drill. And
get your energy, see who you are as a person, right? Face to face.
Face to face. So now it's like being a junior college football coach for the last decade. Hey, Coach Morrison, hey, send me your highlight. They could send it in huddle to my phone in less than 10 minutes. I done already watched and seen what I needed to do. But I just, when you talk about grit, when you talk about drive, when you talk about passion, when you talk about love, when you talk about respect, you got to embody all those things. All those ingredients go into what makes a person, enables a person to ascend to those levels. What I'm seeing currently, and this is not bashing
no bash. There's no hating involved.
If they had our work ethic, our grit, our drive, our passion, our desire, our love, and our respect to your craft, they will be unstoppable because they got so many resources that we could only dream of.
Man, they are. I hate to cut you off, but they are super amazing at what they're doing with the way they're easily able to do it and accomplish the things that they're doing. If they had to grit up and put some passion into it, real passion, it would be ugly.
I agree.
It would be ugly. And then if you want to give somebody $50 million, $10 million, $1 million, I'll be like, yep, you deserve that. You actually do deserve that. Of all the hard work, the hours and all that stuff. And man, I let me say this. I just don't like people getting money for being entertaining. Bottom line, I'm not there to entertain. And if either one of you guys watch my Olympic jumps, after I get out of the pit, I don't flex. I don't do crap. I walk back. There's no coach I'm looking in the stands to. I go back because I'm mentally preparing for what might possibly happen. And I have a girlfriend on the other side of the track running 100 meters that I have to watch and pay attention to at the same time. But it's not about me and flexing and running around. Like, I did that. I broke 2 Olympic and American records, and I did not flinch because that's what I was there to do.
Do you think that hampered your career, that you weren't like that? Because I'm gonna draw a parallel. Yeah. So I was coaching the NFLPA College All-Star game for 3 years. The first year I was up there, I had an opportunity to coach on the same staff as Daryl Green. So we talked. And Daryl is a phenomenal dude, 66 years old, still in great shape, just a great guy, like great advice, like OG.
OG.
And just a solid guy, real faith, 100% into his faith, and not about bragging, none of that stuff. So I kind of think it's the same. Like, okay, so Dion is regarded as top dog, but we can also say in that conversation, Darryl Green, Rod Woodson, Charles Woodson, Champ Bailey, right? There's a lot of guys that a lot of people that don't know ball, they just say Dion because he's the most known and he was the most flamboyant.
Yep. It was entertaining.
Right.
It was entertaining.
Prime was that guy. But there's a group of guys that's in that conversation with him.
Marcus Trufant, yourself. There's some people that get looked over. There's yourself, and you don't get the opportunity because we need to sell tickets. But I want to see performance. And
so that's why I was asking that question. Do you think because you didn't have the extracurricular antics that it hampered some of the opportunities that you could have gotten in terms of sponsorships?
Yeah, I think for me, I just was not after the dollar, and I wasn't like a show pony. I tell that to my parents: don't take me to that place. I'm not a show pony. Don't mention who I am. Just let me mind my business. And yes, it absolutely hampered it. In not a negative way, but I understand what people have to do to get money for themselves. But I'll take the performance over sponsorship all day long. I'll take winning all day long over that.
Can you tell the people about your regimen? Oh, there you go.
Kenny, I was going to ask you if you brought that up. Of course you did.
I took this over friendships, relationships, weddings, birthdays, college graduations, high school graduations. I've never been to a graduation. I've never been to a wedding, except for my own. But I've never been to any of that stuff only because this was what I did. But I knew that it would take that kind of commitment for my body size and my type to get to that level. There was no joking around. There was no smiling in people's faces. There was no, beating chest. It's just put your head down and go to work and be a student of your craft and what you're trying to accomplish. If you're a student of your craft, you know everybody that is in your position, your race. When I would go to track meets, I didn't go to track meets to win the triple jump or long jump. I want to be the baddest person on the track. So my marks had to match Carl Lewis. So, right. And they had to match Michael Johnson's. I wanted to be the most valuable person on the field. And people don't, when they go back and look at the marks, they're like, dang, you were jumping the world record almost every time. And he was getting all the attention. That's no haterism. That's just factual stuff. Yeah. But my goal was just to be the best person on the track. So then when I go back to training, I can have some gauge of where I need to go and who I need to be. So it was never about me being flamboyant because that would take away from my hard work, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. It was working. Go ahead.
Sorry, Dante. I've always respected the athlete who, scored a goal or made a big play or scored a touchdown and acted like he had done it before. Not a guy who was like going to jump around and act like a clown and whoop it up. I just never had respect for that player. I never had respect for that athlete. I have always had more respect for the guy who acted like, he's done it before. He's going to do it again. It's just not a big deal, right? So,
right. I have to take back my favorite athlete ever after you just made that statement, or who was my role model. And I was fortunate enough to watch Barry Sanders at Kansas State University and watch him just do miserable things to grown men. Yeah. And that was in college. He would have 300 yards in the first half and he didn't have to go back in the second half. But his humility and just, I'll do this. This is what I do. Hand the ball off. Hand it to the ref. If the ball's floating around, he will go get it and give it to the ref. Like you said, I will be back there. It's not that big of a deal. This is what I'm doing. That's what I expect for myself and not for the crowd and everybody else. So
it wasn't me. I'm a showboater.
But see, at the same time, Tay, though, I respected that about you, though. I mean, you never crossed a line with showboating, though. You know what I mean? Like,
not a showboater like that, but I'm saying because I played running back all through from Pop Warner to high school, right? So when I used to score touchdowns in high school, I throw the ball up, high step, whatever. I mean, to me, there's a line of showboating, and it's a thin line to where, hey man, I worked hella hard to put in the work to be able to do this shit. So when I score, they gonna know I scored. It's a different type of. It's not, you know.
Yeah,
I think a lot of your personality though comes out in the way you would celebrate. And I know you're not an asshole like that to be whooping it up like pardon me, like a dickhead, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean? Like it was
That's
just
a
your
good
personality.
term.
That's who you are, right? So
because sports is ebb and flow of emotions. I mean, especially in the football game. Like I played baseball. I ran track for a year and some change in high school. That football shit is just, man, I ain't never done hard drugs ever in my life, but it gotta be like heroin, because running out of the tunnel and seeing 60,000 people and you can't even hear, and people wearing your jersey with your name on it, and this shit is amazing, man. I get goosebumps talking about it now. It's like nothing can compare to that. So it's like I'm like when we train, Ken. It's like I'm training because I want it. I need that dopamine. I need that. I gotta make the big play because this shit gonna go crazy in this stadium, and it's just I'm preparing myself to put on that show, like you say, entertain. Even though from an athlete perspective, it was, I'm the best because I don't put in the work. I did them 2,500 abs y'all had us doing today. I tell people about that, they be like, huh? I'm like, 2,500, bro. So I'm the one who had to get them hip flexors right, to pick it up, step it over that stick, bring it back, sit it down. Man, come on, man.
Yeah. Oh no. I want to add in, because every time you guys say something or we discuss something, it just brings up different nuances of what it takes and what we were thinking, like walking out to the Olympic Stadium and any stadium in Europe, and for 4 years prior to the Olympics, and you are expected to be number one. And that show is amazing. Mm-hmm. And I always say, when I jump, I want to make the crowd say, woo! The whole crowd goes nuts, and they're not even paying attention to you. Out of 100,000 people, when the whole stadium stands up and says, whoa! That's, to me, is that dopamine, because I know I'm going to make them watch. Even if they're not watching, they're going to watch. And that's a unique situation. And I want to add that to when Gail Devers was running the 100 meters on the opposite side of the track in the 1996 Olympics. We had the press conference the day before, and she said, do not jump when I'm getting the blocks, because you're going to mess the crowd up. And then I'm going to have to stand up and prepare, right? Yeah. But we already know that I'm going to do that. So she's got a little bit of an advantage over the rest of the lineup, period, because that is, dude, that dopamine, like you said, when you can walk into a full stadium and they're not looking at you in track, you're looking at a play in football, you're looking at the pitcher in baseball, you're looking at this person, but when somebody does something that draws your attention to it, right, that's that dopamine of a different, like, mindset, in my opinion. And that was my thing. And I knew I didn't do well if nobody said a word. I know if nobody made a sound, I'm like, that was horrible. I don't even have to look at the measurement.
Kenny, you made me, you put shivers down my spine when you talked about walking out onto, the Olympic field for a competition. That just tingled down my whole spine. Another thing is, me as a Canadian in 96, Marsh, we would have been like 18, 17 around there. We're the same age. As a Canadian, I remember you and Gail, Kenny, at the Olympics in 96. And like you said, like you're doing something big. It's not just 60,000 fans watching. It's the world watching. It's a world stage. It is absolutely huge. And for you to like, were you able to back then just to like really reflect and take that in at the time and think and to like just to capture that moment in your head?
I was. I took the time out because I'm so focused. Like I said, it was never about me putting on a show for anybody else. It was just the accomplishment. Mm-hmm. So right before I was leaving, when I took the sand out of the pit and I was prepared for that, I brought a Ziploc bag and everything because I knew what I was there to do and what I was going to accomplish. So when I took the sand out of the pit, I said, you got to take some of this in because I didn't see crap the whole time. I didn't know what was going on except for when Gail was running. That was the only time I was like focused on something, period. And that kind of like focus and like pinch yourself moment was when you pick up the bag and your girlfriend's running around the track at the same time winning gold medals. It's just unbelievable thing. I never did press conferences after that. I just wanted to go home and share that moment with her, for her winning hers and me winning mine. And that was my focus. Yeah. That was my biggest focus.
Because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that around the time of the boy from Canada? That was the sprinter.
Ben Johnson?
Sorry.
Wait. Oh my goodness, we can't.
Canadian
right now.
Because he ran the 150. Remember him and Michael Johnson that thing. So what was his name?
Donovan Bailey.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, Mr. Donovan Bailey, for gabbing on that. That's disgraceful. I'm sorry, but yes, it was Donovan Bailey.
Oh, with that Olympics with Michael Johnson with the gold shoes and all the hoopla.
Yep.
How was that during that time at the Olympics? Like y'all call it the village, right? The Olympic Village,
right? How
was that just being there with all of that hype? Because I mean, for me, as an athlete myself, but not at an Olympic athlete, my mind goes straight to the sprints. So how was that to try to kind of, make sure
you stay focused?
Yeah, and not only that you like, wait a minute, they talking about him, they need to be talking about me. I'm finna show out.
Well, when people always ask me that question, kind of like, God, the village, man, what was the village? I said, dude, I stayed in a hotel. I didn't stay in any villages. We stayed away from any hoopla. We are focused. When you go to the Olympics, for most people, they just want the experience to be Olympian. Yeah. When some people go to the Olympics, they want to be a medalist. When some people go to the Olympics, you want to be the best, get the gold. Then you got the people who want to break the world record and Olympic record of everybody in history. So all those different levels are people who will stay in the village and have a good time. You see them on video, you see them doing stuff. I don't know how they can do it. Then you see the other people as you gradually move to the higher medal count. I'm pretty sure that Nike provided housing and stuff for their athletes that were there, and Adidas and all the sponsors. But I wasn't really enamored by any of that stuff because, my upbringing, meeting princes and kings and queens and presidents and blah, blah, blah. You can't shock me with it. You can't, there's no shine left for those folks to be able to have to impress or try to impress other people around me. So I'm not that dude. And I think that's why me and you, and when we were training together, we all were on the same page. You were the same as anybody else or better. And bottom line is, I don't get caught up in that BS. I don't get caught up in no fans. I'm not a fan of actors. Let me go. Actors have no societal value, in my opinion. Sorry, actors. But musicians are amazing. Any musician, they learn the craft, they hone their craft. Actors, you can act. I don't even know if you're talking to me correctly. Or are you acting? What are you doing? I have no idea. But in sports, in certain sports, you know exactly who you're dealing with on a daily basis. So, yeah, we're gonna get there.
So I want to ask you a question. So we had this conversation before. So team sport athletes, Olympic athletes. Can you break down the way you categorize this? Because I've heard this before from you, so I want you to
To me, team games. You play a game. You play it, and you can pass the ball. You can go out and party the night before, and still put 60 points on somebody in a game like a Jordan. I'm sick, and he put 60 or whatever he did. I was like, that's a game. You're not going to do that in track and field. You're not going to do that in tennis. You're not going to do that at all. Team players who play the game can be amazing, like a Michael Jordan or LeBron James, because they train like they want to be the best athlete on the court or field or whatever the situation is, while everybody else is out there playing the game. They actually are trying to be the best in history in their training development. They're just not tall for no reason. They're just not big with muscles playing football, knocking people down. That's the difference, in my opinion, because being able to train and run next to football players and Hall of Famers and like you guys aren't that good. You really aren't. And to be able to dunk,
look, it's football fast and then it's track fast.
Oh, you know why they put the lines on the side of the football field? Those little hash marks every yard.
Why?
So it appears like they're running super fast down the sideline. They just amp the game up. They make it cosmetically more appealing, and it seems like they're doing something really fast. But when you see the referee running down the sideline right next to him, you're like,
and the referee's fat and out of shape. I'm sorry, but
it's pretty awesome.
You know what you're talking about? Yeah, I just seen that video where that one referee, he was chopping. He was getting to it.
That's who I watch. I watch the coaches. I watch the people sitting on the bench. I watch the celebrities that get the VIP tickets on the side when they're running next to the play. I'm like, you're not doing that at a track meet. And I'll say this, Michael Jordan, one of my favorite athletes, but America put him in that realm by him jumping 15 feet from the free throw line and dunking a basketball. 15. It's only 15 feet. But they made it into this big, huge, experience that people are like, wow, that's amazing, and blah, blah, blah. Dude, it's only 15 feet. And he's 6'7". What the?
I mean, it's amazing from the standpoint of a basketball player. So because I have some track background, that's a totally different world. Like, I got the utmost respect for that. Like, no.
No.
I don't want to run 6.54 breakdown. No, I don't do that. So when I was made to really run for real my senior year in high school by my high school football coach, shout out Alonzo Carter. He's currently the running backs coach at University of Arizona. He was my high school coach along with Marcus Peters' dad, Michael Peters at Columbus High School in West Oakland. So I get my scholarship to Fresno State. And they forced me to run track because I used to quit every year. I get out there thinking it's sweet, coming in top 3. Then when the real track guys came out, it was a wrap. So I used to quit. That's a true story. And I'm fast. I'm a football player. I don't need this hat. I would have really understood the method behind the madness. I would have stayed running track regardless. But I ran a whole full season my senior year, and it did help. But what I learned is I thought I was really in shape. I was not in shape like I thought I was, because that track shape I threw up every practice.
Well, that's a different thing. But on top of that, everybody who was coming to us were fast, but they didn't run proper. And my favorite thing was everybody kicked their hands back like they were cute and they looked fast. You're not going nowhere, bro. You're not going anywhere. And then when you guys change your dynamic and you guys actually became world-class athletes, in my opinion, of watching you just change and listen and watch technically, then you guys became a different beast. And what I tell people when they come train with you or train with us, coaches, I'm going to give you a better athlete. Then you can take them and put them in any plays you want, but they're going to be able to run faster. They're going to be more explosive. They're going to have better technique and more and be able to manage your skill set of what a coach needs you to do. Right? And that's what you guys made the adjustments like nobody's business. And that's fun for me, not only basketball, baseball, and football, but especially football, because I know y'all out there about to die if you make a mistake.
Hey, it's just funny the parallels, right? So I'm telling you, a lot of football players think we top dog. And it's an ego thing and all that.
Of course.
Get on that track will humble you.
Oh, no, I just want people to understand that how our kids are developed. So in high school, basketball, baseball, football, on game day, everybody dresses up. They're the stars of the school. They're just spoiled. You get to ride in this cool bus. You get to the game like you the boss. Everybody's like the boss. Their whole lives, if you continue to get to the next levels, you don't ever have to deal with real life situations with regular people. You're always spoiled. So the people who now have, let's say, $20 million and you have no athletic skill, you still feel that kind of, I'm better than you. You've been spoiled your whole life. Now, when you see another game or sport or somebody else, it puts everything in perspective. Mm-hmm. So for me, I just love watching other athletes try to run correctly. Just watching a basketball player try to sprint, watching a baseball player try to really sprint, or just watching anybody try to sprint or jump or do the basics of what athletics was all about. Athletics was only about seeing who the passer, who can jump the furthest, who can throw the furthest. That's it. Yeah. And those are the foundations for every game in the history of the world except for breakdancing, I believe. And that is where athletes forget. I just want to go play my game. I was too tired to do that. I ain't doing all that. Well, that's the foundation of every game that people play. The Greeks created the Olympics so long ago just to see who is baddest. Period. I don't want to see you play a game until you can show me how bad you are by running fast, jumping far, throwing hard, lifting something, to be in that athlete. Then I want to see you play the game because I know I'm going to get the best quality of game I could see.
Okay. Now we finna get into some deep shit. I got a question. Oh, them sweet right there. Oh,
Lord Niles, I want my own shoe. What?
Oh, wow.
Been done, done that. But yeah. No bragging. I don't need the money, but yeah, they already make those. But yeah.
I got a question for you. So this whole gender thing with the sports, you got a boxing match. And I guess, don't quote me on it, but the person that won has XY chromosomes, but they're actually a female. And she boxed up the actual woman. I don't want to be politically incorrect. They say
I'll fix it for you right now.
Yeah. So
I'll fix it for you right now.
So how do you feel about this stuff? Because to me, it's I think it's tarnishing sports in general. I think women have come a long way. The Title IX stuff, we can, it wasn't not too long ago where women weren't even allowed to work or vote or whatever. They were like, okay, be at the house and, be a homemaker. So the equality stuff, the whole Title IX stuff, if they have their sports, let them have that. They work hard. they're busting their ass the same way men busting their ass in regards to whatever sports where you're talking about where you're talking about basketball, track and field. There's some phenomenal female athletes. My personal opinion is we done opened up Pandora's box and there's too much going on. I can't.
I completely agree. It's not even funny because, like I say, in track and field, there's a stopwatch and a tape measure. There's no physical contact. With me going to go say, I'm going to beat, let's say, Gail Devers on the 100. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get in the blocks against that. But if we're going to fight, or it's going to be a physical confrontation, that's so disrespectful, in my opinion. But in all games and everything that people do, the respect should always be given to having that venue for you to do that. Right. So if you have the venue, like women's basketball, men's basketball, I love both sides. Who cares? It's the same thing. But I'm not going to try to compare or try to cheat you because I'm not. It's like taking steroids in track and field, and then commenting on how to coach somebody when you've never done it for real. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't done it for real and you try to coach somebody, you're giving them bad information. Mm-hmm. If a man thinks that he can't make it at a certain level, I can still be successful over here, or transgender or whatever. I got more power. Story number 3. I went to the Olympic trials. I didn't make the team because I had to have knee surgery. But the doctor said, Kenny, you're not going to do anything worse to your ACL and everything else. You're going to have knee surgery in 1992 when I was picked to win. And they were trying to change the rule that we get to go anyway. And I said, heck no. I'm going to take the opportunity for somebody who's going to be 100%, and I'm only going to be 50%. And that's not fair, right? So that's, to me, my mindset is like, if you just want to be there to beat people up, or you want to race somebody that is out of your league or not, you can't win. Yeah. It's like beating your sister and you got to lean when you beat her in the 100. Did you win?
No.
I
mean, but that's like, I'm just, this is platform. I'm just asking questions because I wanted to get another perspective on it, because I just think so much stuff is getting intertwined and crossed up, and it's all these gray areas when I don't really think it should be a gray area. If you are a woman, you need to compete with other women. If you are a man, you need to compete with other men. I have no qualms about the alphabet community. Much love and respect. You're entitled to do whatever people do in their bedroom is their business. I don't feel no kind of way about that. My thing is, we need to make a transgender games then, if that's the case. In my honest,
well, with all the games and all the sports that they now have in the Olympics, we had the X Games. Mm-hmm. We already had the X Games. So how come all these new things can't go to the X Games and we can make it great without taking away from the original, what the Greeks created, which politically might not be correct, but the X Games was perfect, amazing thing that you can go take your BMX bikes, your skateboards, you can go do something outside of who you are to compete against another person. No big deal. But when we're competing against men, transgender, or women against men,
do you think that dilutes the fabric of what it was created on? Like the Olympics is so historical, and it's so much deep with culture and the intricate stories of champions like yourself. Like, do you think it dilutes the seriousness of it or the greatness of it when you do that?
I believe it's already been diluted. I think that our society has already created this. Everybody should be able to get a gold medal, no matter what it is. And that and what is transpired has shown that even in track and field, everybody will hate me for saying this. In relays, you shouldn't get a gold medal. That's not. If you have Michael Johnson on your team, you get a gold medal because he ran super fast and walked down all those people. That's not what the Olympics was created for. Does all of the Olympic team, if we win more medals than everybody, does everybody win a gold medal? Whoever country wins, like a NBA, NFL, baseball, that team wins the gold medal. The managers, everybody else. In track and field, everybody should win a gold medal, correct?
If you in that logic.
Well, I mean, that's not logic. That's
no. I get what you're saying, but
you're representing a team,
right?
USA. That's where we go. That's what they changed it to, Team USA. Right. And everybody's there for a team. So basketball, baseball, football, whatever games are there, games. So the whole team should win a gold medal if you win the most medals and win the most gold medals. But my opinion is, oh no. This is individualized athleticism. This is not a show. This is not a game. This is real, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
do you think Olympians is more of a showcase of I'm an individual and I'm better than this other individual, which in my mind, that's what the Olympics are about, especially when it comes to track and field. So in regards to that, like, I know they've added some things. I haven't really got into it this year,
right.
Of multiple reasons.
Breakdancing.
But you know what? That's crazy. You made a good point. You have another platform, X Games, where you could slide some of those new things they're trying to implement into the Olympics and slide them over there. And I think it'd be even greater because it would give it more attention. Because I think when I think of the Olympics, and I'm 45 years old, I think about the 100 meters, the 200, 400, the jumps, obviously, and the 4x1. You know, I really. And then you want to see some of the gymnasts, because that's some phenomenal shit as well.
Gymnastics, yep.
Outside of that, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really care too much for anything else.
Boxing, come on.
Yeah. Olympic boxing is off the hook. So that's man on man crime right there. So
Dante just forgot about the boxing for some reason. He meant to say it, but it just slipped his mind.
No, you know why? Because regular boxing is horse shit, in my opinion. Now,
yeah, that's all fair.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
like the old school WWF. People dodging people, ducking people. It's entertainment. It ain't. When I grew up, my dad used to watch. So this is Kenny. You gonna know this all too well. In terms of the little guys, I'm not even gonna really. This is just little guys. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns,
Sugar Ray
Leonard. You had some dudes that them the little dudes. We ain't talking about the Mike Tyson
heavyweights.
Heavyweights. You talking about the Kenny Nortons. You talking about George Foreman, a young Evander Holyfield. Like there was some dudes back.
That was before they figured out if you lose this time, you're gonna make more money. Even though we know you're going to win, just lose this time and you're going to get a payout.
Yeah.
And it's going to be amazing for you. That kind of stuff.
I think that's a good question to ask. Do you think that sports and entertainment is too intertwined at this day and age, and it takes some of the essence away from the sport when you have so much at stake in terms of economics?
Yeah. Well, what we've witnessed is that people now in the fans are like, you play the game, I paid the tickets. I pay your bill. I do it. I do. Perfect example. No, those people are just playing the game, right? Because they just feel like entitled to, I'm paying your bill. I'm paying for what you do. And the entertainment factor that they're putting into it you have to do this. You got to have this commercial. Most professional athletes are like, I want the endorsements. I watched Jason Tatum win championship, but he wasn't happy because he didn't win the MVP, in my opinion. And the financial part about it, they lose out on because somebody chose somebody over the other, if that makes any sense.
The variables we talked about. Yeah.
Because somebody chooses somebody, it's like a judgmental thing. It's not who actually wins the game. It's more judgmental of what makes you famous. And you can be, like I said, you can be great and be just average athlete because of entertainment makes it entertaining, and entertainers make it more entertaining for the crowd to fill the seats. That's it. That's what I loved about track and field. Look, I don't care if there's 0 fans in the stands. I still got to perform at the highest level. And that's a unique thing. And I like the fact that I can go to college and get a degree and still make really good money. But at the same time, your driving desires was for this thing right now. And no amount of fans, no amount of money could change my guidance and direction of what I wanted to accomplish. And I think that's a difference of what it is today. So the entertainment factor of what people want to do is go out and entertain, like social media, is to see how many likes they get. Same on the football field, same on the basketball game. They're trying to get likes by doing something ridiculous or doing something amazing, as opposed to playing the game and winning.
That's another thing that kind of chaps my ass a little bit. Sorry, I'm just going to be honest with you. This stuff about likes and like, I'm going to post this to get likes and I didn't get enough likes and I'm not like, come on, really? Man. Like, come on, man. Like if we're living my life or their life for likes, I'm sorry, but
I think that's the best thing I've heard this week, and I'm absolutely on your team. And
here's the deal.
On your team all day with that.
Here's the deal. Watch this. So back when we was growing up, if you wore some cheap ass shoes, you got them pay less special. Damn, man, they gonna be on my ass today. Mama, why you, man, y'all bought me these cheap ass shoes? On the back of the bus, you knew you was gonna get your ass lit up. We playing the dozens, we capping, right, kid? That helped. Even though that in today's society, that would be called bullying, that right there, a lot of solid men came from that era. And I'm saying that because it taught you certain things. It taught you to be quick-witted, because you learn how to have a comeback quick as hell. Somebody
oh, yeah. You got to be prepared.
Thick skin, because people talk. Now, it will go on for about 5 or 10 minutes until the mama jokes came and it was like, hey, hold up, don't talk about my mama. Right? That was the thing. I think it built character. Yep. It showed how to deal with adversity. Like, there's so many little components into those things as like growing up back in the day versus now. And I think when you alluded to it earlier, it's like society has the participation trophy thing going.
Yeah.
No, if you ain't good enough, you're not gonna make it. Because see, I think, and I tell my students, as I'm a high school teacher as well, I say, here's the deal. If it's not good enough, when we have to prepare you for later on, right? Outside, because school is like Disneyland in a sense, because the young people know they could talk shit to teachers and do their thing, and they're not gonna get punched in the mouth at school, because there's an adult and there's a teenager, right? But once you become an adult yourself, you won't do or act that same way or carry yourself that way outside in society, because there's consequences and repercussions, right? Yeah. So I think the everything is turned into, you get cancel culture. So you gotta tiptoe around things and stuff that's true. The truth is now frowned upon and the fake shit is applauded. I'm confused. So I think when you have people who, when we talk about the drive, the grit, the determination, the passion, I think with them, why do I have to have any of that? Because I can still be the guy without any of that, right?
Without working.
Yeah.
Without working. And what you said on top of that, with the shoes, when you go to the game with those shoes on and you bust their ass with those goofy shoes on, it changes their demeanor. You played with those fancy shoes, but guess what? I played in this crap over here. Who looks like a fool?
Yeah.
That lets you know what hard work can do and dictate and change. So when you want to try to be flashy and flamboyant, I'm going to go get the worst. Matter of fact, I'll get the ugliest car on the planet, but I'm still getting out of it. So I don't care how fancy your car is. You still got to be you. I still get to be me, no matter what it is. Yeah. So that's the same kind of mentality. I don't think people take seriously. And I told this to my wife. I was like, when I get out of the car, no matter what it is, and a guy says, "Oh, that's a beautiful car." What do you say? Do you say, "Oh, thank you," or do you say, "Yes, it's beautiful"? Whoever built this thing, the model, or whoever created this amazing car is amazing. But most people, you know who they are as soon as you say, "Oh, that's a nice car," and their first thing, "Thank you very much." You just bought it. You didn't do crap. What? That's not the dude who made it. That dude's impressive.
Yeah.
That's what I want to express to kids that are coming up. That you can be the car maker. You can be flashy, but you didn't build it.
Right.
That's dope right there. I ain't really
simple message.
I didn't think of it like that.
So Dante, I guarantee you that you and Kenny are the kind of people that kicked ass. You didn't even need shoes on your feet. You know, you were still kicking ass, right? So come on now.
That's some grit.
Come on now.
Hey, I used to, but I know you remember this too. So you racing your homeboys out in the street. By the time the street lights come on, everybody racing in the neighborhood. Then somebody, who brought up the idea I can run faster in my socks? You kick off the shoes, you there. Mom and dad, you put some holes in them socks, I'm gonna whoop your ass.
And you did it. Everybody did it.
Everybody.
I was always the one that stubbed my toe and then couldn't run anymore. Sorry, but come on now.
Hey, for some strange reason, that was the go-to, kid.
Take the shoes off. Socks. You look faster. That's the NFL. Sorry. They put those lines on the side. It's like taking your shoes off. So you look faster. You ain't going nowhere. But it's sorry, NFL. But it's part of the deal when you're a little kid. You definitely taking your shoes off to run.
Absolutely. That was a must. So what do you think needs to, what would you like to see happen with this next wave of athletes?
Well, like I said, I believe they're just amazing athletes. And I don't know if there's anything that's going to be able to stop the wave of financial gain over performance, because all the companies take performance out of the game for a lot of the athletes that are better athletes, and it takes it away from them and gives it to the more flamboyant ones. So for me, I don't foresee that changing. I wish it would, but I think there should be more hands-on clinics from like yourself or pro scouts or baseball pro scouts, just to see real talent. Let's just do a real talent, like neighborhood, like challenge, because there are people out there ridiculous. Yeah. And maybe that might be a new web or a podcast for people just to go to the street and just pull people off the street and race in their socks and be like, "Oh, these dudes are real." Okay. That, until that happens, it's just going to be a social media who's the best social media wise.
You think the NIL? You think the NIL is going to be the death of college sports?
No. To me, college sports was supposed to be a luxury and a fun time. Period. Basketball, baseball, football. Just a fun time to represent your university. But then when it became commercialized with the NBA, NFL, and everything else, and now social media, it's just getting happy.
So I'm saying like, I think I'm all for the young people getting paid. Like, shoot, I need reparations. NCAA owe me some money, right? Some back pay. But I think it's gonna kill the game. The only reason I say that is because it's, once again, open up Pandora's box. The NIL, it needs some type of structure because it's the wild, wild west right now. Yep. Also, you just said that marijuana has come off the ban list, which I don't agree with that. I think they should have left that alone because it's going to be some craziness with that. I just think there's things that they're allowing to happen now is going to kill. It's going to kill what collegiate sports was. Now, I'm all for the players getting paid. They just need to do some type of structure with it so it's effective. Because to me, okay, so I coach junior college football. It's hard for me to get players because remember, before there was a transfer portal, junior college was the transfer portal. Hey, I need a ready dude. Let me go to junior college because the high school kid ain't going to be ready. He got a red shirt.
Yep.
More times than not. So now you're seeing a situation where there's kids in any other time would be a D1 kid. You're talking about 3-4 star kids, no scholarship offers, Ken. And then now that kid got to go JUCO. So then the cycle starts all over when it's after his year or two at JUCO, he's still in the same spot because as a coach, hey, do I take the high school kid, 17, 18-year-old kid, right? That it's a crapshoot, or do I take the kid that went to LSU and then he got his all in his feelings and he jumped in the portal and transferred, and now I could land me a 5-star right in my lap through the transfer portal. So right. I'm asking that because I think that if there's not some infrastructure or some parameters put in place, it's going to kill it.
Right. And to me, just the simple fact that it's a game, you can still win. Like, people can be sat on the bench and still win, but they could be amazing athletes. So coaches get to utilize that. Man, yeah, I can leave, whatever. I'll just replace you. I'll just plug and play. Mm-hmm. So the portal is that kind of thing. So, that's what I see. So that the money's winning. The money's winning.
Money gonna always win. I don't know, man. I'm becoming the old guy now. So just remember what it was for me. I used to say this. I play for the Raiders for free.
Right.
I'm from Oakland, man. I'm gonna have all my friends. My whole game check gonna go for tickets. My partners in the black hole, So
exactly.
That's where my mind was as an athlete when I was playing. I didn't care. The main thing was always the main thing. Then as you get, you start, hey, I'm getting paid for this shit. Okay, I can make some money. Okay, cool. But I love the game so much. Shit, I would have played.
Not important. Right.
So I'm respecting the young people hustle because the money it's a beautiful thing that they can get compensated the way they can. It's just, I think you're seeing a drop in the performance because cats is more worried about these weird ass outfits they wearing to the game. Like, dude, you in the NBA, you getting paid all this money. You should not dress that bad. That shit is atrocious.
It's disrespectful.
Hey, my NBA homeboys, hey man, that ain't a good look, brother. You get a lot of money. You should know how. If you getting that kind of money, you should know how to dress. Like, come on.
You should have an expert on staff to help you.
They do. They have
you care about image. Yeah, I know.
And now, man, you see some of the shit they be wearing.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
Finest.
It's ridiculous. It's unfair, I should say that. That's unfair.
I think, like you said, social media. So you got guys more concerned about what they're doing on social media and their other ventures and that they're doing on the peripheral side, versus the main thing is no longer the main thing.
Yeah, your performance no longer matters. And the time it takes for not only like us just setting up to get prepared to do this, just on our own personal time, I'm supposed to be training right now. I'm not supposed to be doing like a social media thing or doing that kind of thing. But people are doing that to get likes and get attention and followers. And they're spending more time doing that than they are supposed to be out there trying to perform at the highest level, because they get contracts at that very high level without doing anything. Yeah. So as long as people fill the seats to watch that halfway performance, half-assed performances, basketball, baseball, football, nobody's going to say anything because he's still filling the seats.
That's right.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Until somebody says something and says, "Hey, man, that was a great win, but y'all were dog shit. You didn't do anything in the game. You were lazy. You sat on the bench half the time." Like the athletes now, they're like, "Dude, you only played half the game, or you only played half the season, and you still make $120 million." What?
Oh, you preaching now?
What? Come on, man.
Yeah.
So that's like that. Go ahead, Ron.
No, go ahead, Dante. Go ahead.
That's like that in-game tournament that they had. Because I just, with the NBA, like, dude, Michael Jordan's the GOAT.
Why?
LeBron James is a phenomenal player. I think he's an all-time great. He's just not better than Mike. And it's okay. Two things can be true.
It's okay. That can be true. Hey, he can be great, and he's just greater.
Okay.
Don't get us started on that. Yes. He is down phenomenal. Jordan, we're old school, and I'm taking Jordan over LeBron and his son. I think LeBron could beat LeBron and his son at the same time.
He was that, yeah.
Jordan could beat both of them if they played 2-on-1. Jordan would probably still beat those two.
Yeah. I'm with you guys on Jordan as well. Dante, I'll never forget when we had Milt Stegall absolutely lit up over that, how he was saying LeBron is a better player. I'm like, what? Come on now.
I don't know. I think Milt might have been bullshit. So, I mean, here's the thing. LeBron's phenomenal. Like, I got a chance to see him live when he played for the Heat, and I had some pretty close seats. They weren't floor seats, but they were pretty damn close in Atlanta. And when I tell you he could do whatever this is around 2010-ish. He could do whatever he wanted to do to anybody physically. He's an imposer. Like, I'm talking about, he well put together, athletic, all that. However,
no Diddy.
However, we're old enough to have seen both. So when I have these debates with my players and the young people I train, you don't get it because you didn't take the time to go study. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you all they say is, "Oh, you old heads always hating." It's not hating when it's the truth. So Mike didn't have, and I'm not making excuses, these are facts. He wasn't spending $1 million on a trainer or his body or nothing. This man smoking Cubans on the way to the game and dropped 50.
in his private jet.
Yeah, he could play a whole 18 holes on the golf course and go put up 61 on somebody. Like, he was that good.
In the playoffs, right? So,
come on, man. It's not.
I'm cutting in right now. He doesn't have to run you over to score points. Jordan never has he's that athletic. That's what makes him so fascinating and cool to watch. LeBron can just beat you up and just run you over. He doesn't have to be as athletic as Jordan had to be back then, because he just beats you up and runs you over and gets to the basket. So I appreciate that he can't score all the time, but that's not a better athlete, in my opinion.
Mike was just graceful. He could jump up in the air, think about which cigar he gonna smoke later, and then as he coming down, oh, I'm gonna change hands and I'm gonna lay it up instead of shooting. He was just graceful. Everything about Mike was just bigger.
It was elegant. It was elegant. And when I've never seen him run anybody over and score 2 points. He always had to go around somebody or shake somebody badly or just go over the top of them to score points.
He was so competitive too. That's the other thing.
Yeah. So, Kenny, can you talk to us about any setbacks or injuries that you faced and how you overcame them during your career?
Yeah, I was always injured because I was self-coached. So I was always being the guinea pig for myself. So I would do crazy, most amazing training things. And I was picked to win 1992 Olympics after being world champion and ranked number 1 in the world in 90. And I was doing a media thing for those, commercialized things before the games, profile stories. And I tore my ACL. And I missed the 1992 Olympics. So to be able to fight back from that, and also I had back surgery and multiple stress fractures, all that stuff. But the ACL, when you were picked to win the gold medal and having to wait 4 more years, because I was going to retire after 1992, because everybody said you're not successful until you win the Olympics. I was like, well, I'm world champion. How is that not the best in the world? Why I got to go there? And to put the stamp on it, I had to wait 4 more years. Yeah. So to wait those 4 years was painful, but it made me a better athlete and understand my weaknesses a little bit more and understand and appreciate what it takes to be an athlete. Not just on the track, but off the track, financially, everything else that comes with your job. If you don't show up, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
So to be able to manage all that stuff and come back 4 years later and, get your personal best and break the Olympic record, it was just a learning curve that, I'm very proud of. And I try to share as much as I can when I give, whether I'm giving a speech or when I'm talking to kids, that, don't put your head down. Right. Let's go. Even though it's bleak, but it's you can fight back from it.
Yeah. So how many times, when you're talking about having back surgery and that those types of injuries, how many times were there that you wanted to give up, or did you just keep pushing through and keep fighting because mentally you just wanted it?
Right. That a perfect example was then. I was like, I don't really need to do anything else. I'm world champion. Do you quit? But when people challenge you, of course, they're like, you can't quit because you haven't got this one yet. And so it put that kind of fire under your belly. And, it just keeps you motivated when people when people doubt you. So all the injuries, it is pushing forward, but it's motivating at the same time.
Yeah. What do you think is the key to longevity in athletics?
Not cheating and getting up every morning and putting in the work consistently, not being in a rush to be great. Be patient, even though people want you to be amazing right now at what you do. Yeah. If you have a plan to be patient, it's coming. You got to develop. You got to get stronger. You got to get bigger. You got to fit your body, what you're going to put it through. And that's for college. That's for school. That's for being a doctor. That's for everything. You take your time, be patient, and just don't rush through it. And for me, I didn't rush through it. It took me till I was 31 to win my gold medal. But at the same time, my progressions, like we talked about earlier, were consistent through some injuries, but consistently getting better and better and better. And that's how, when I look at athletes now, I see them be great for 1 minute and then they drop off and you never see them again. And you can tell who you're competing against by their consistency of what they've done over their career and all that detail stuff that if you're an expert in your event, then you pay attention to the details of your competitors as well. So just being patient. People are going to beat you. People are going to win. Don't get the ego because you want to win, but it's a process of development to be great. So if you have that patience, I think that's where you get your longevity and you stay healthier and more amazing. I see that people who get that get rich quick kind of scheme, I call it the Hollywood thing. Let's go get rich quick. Go to Hollywood. You can't do that in sports. So if you take your time and progress, you become healthier. And you can see that in many athletes that are, got that beer belly and all that other stuff. Like 1 year after they retire.
Right.
Consistency is everything. That's what I ask the players all the time. I say, what makes you great? And they looking,
I'm just great.
Which is great, but consistency, it's when you look at when people talk about the GOATs, Jerry Rice is the greatest wide receiver to ever put cleats on. I had some young people on one of my homeboys posted his one-on-ones like from practice when he was playing. And people, these young, what do you call them? What are these young?
Gender X or whatever it is.
Beyond disrespectful. Oh, those DBs were ass. There wasn't no good DBs back then. I said, Rod Woodson, Deion Sanders, Darryl Green, Aeneas Williams, Eric Allen. It's a long list of good ones.
It's Hall of Fame-ish.
So once again, you're being disrespectful by saying that these young people think just because you are athletic that makes you great. Jerry wasn't never the fastest, wasn't the biggest, wasn't the strongest, but he ran fucking every route like the first one, the last one. He was so crispy in all his routes. And the thing
that's the perfect word, crispy.
And he caught balls on Prime and Prime picked balls off. So come on now, we got to stop. We have to stop. You know what it is, Ken? This generation is so quick to anoint somebody a GOAT.
Oh, yeah.
1 year, you're the greatest. No. Jerry Rice is the greatest because check this out. He has, I want to say, 204 total touchdowns. Do you know the next two players in the Hall of Fame after him are like 50 away? And it's Randy Moss and Terrell Owens.
Oh, gosh.
That's
a problem.
Yeah, that's a big problem. And he played in the era where it was a lot of 21 personnel. That's 2 backs, 1 tight end, and 2 wide receivers. Back in the day when they was running the ball 2 or 3 times most of the time. So nowadays, they just air it out. Just imagine what Jerry could do if they threw the ball as much back then.
Come on, man.
So that you know what I'm saying? So I just to that point, what you said was you see a guy or you see a gal, phenomenal athlete, 1 or 2 years, and then you don't know what happened to him. And I think that goes into what you just said in terms of what we believe in. Working your craft, making the main thing always remain the main thing. And that's why those GOATs and we'll take LeBron, for instance. He's done it for a long time because he's dedicated and sacrificed to that craft. So the consistency is there. The guys that are flash in the pan, they might have a 2-3 year run and then they fall off the face of the earth. There's the main thing was no longer the main thing. And the consistency wasn't there.
For sure.
Jonte, the fact that you mentioned T.O. on this podcast, fuck. Pardon my language, that bullshit. Come on, man. You know where it's at.
T.O. Look, so here's my thing. I got an opportunity to train prior to my pro day down in LA with Chad Johnson and TJ Hushmanzada and my homeboy Marcus Williams and my other homeboy Jeremiah Farms. I played against some phenomenal guys my 4 years in college. I got an opportunity to cover Andre Rison. He was 38 years old, and I got a chance to, when he was with Toronto when I was in DC. RJ Soward, former first. These are two former first-round draft pick guys that were phenomenal. I got an opportunity to go against Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne my rookie year when the Colts came down to scrimmage us in Tennessee. So I've had my share of competing with some elite level guys. Terrell Owens is he's top 3 all time.
Oh, absolutely is.
And even as great as he was, even as great as Randy Moss was, is still not greater than Jerry Rice.
No, but the fact that T.O.'s ego screwed around with my Philadelphia Eagles pisses me off. Okay. But I did have respect for T.O. and the tongue lashing he gave to McNabb when McNabb was puking on the sidelines during, the Super Bowl, right? So, I mean, I'll give him credit where credit's due. Athletic, unspoken ability to catch and run with a football, one of the greatest of all time, but the ego just absolutely killed him. Come on.
That kills a lot of football players. I've been around some, I'm not going to name drop, but there's some phenomenal character guys in the league. Like when I got to Tennessee, there were some guys there that I had to remember, hey, I'm their teammate now. I can't be starstruck. And it's hard when you're growing up and you're watching these dudes. You know what I mean? Like I got a chance to be on the team with Eddie George, and this dude, like Ohio State, Heisman Trophy. Like damn, he really big as shit. Like, and then after you go through, mini camp and you go through OTAs and you get to training camp, you're like, okay, these are my teammates now. There's some freak of nature athletes. Javon Curse was out of this world freakish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. What about Andre Carter, bro?
Man, him and Javon were like, that's something else. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
you can see his abs through his sweatshirt, and he's running around at 4.4 seconds and 40 yards.
That big.
There's freaks out there.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, I think sometimes the greatness of an athlete, we never get to really see that in a lot of them because of the pride and the ego thing. And to me, I could never understand how we are blessed and fortunate to even have made it that far because of those variables, Ken. Because it's a pick and choose and the moon and the stars got to line up.
They got to line up.
So for you to get that opportunity, and there's a bunch of guys out here that would cut off their pinky finger to get that opportunity, and you treat it as such, that never sat well with me. I'm old school in that way, but I do understand, you got to respect me too when I'm doing what I'm doing and you paying me the way you paying me. It's a fine line, right? I don't give a shit how much money I could ever make playing. I would never disrespect the game by half-assing. I never disrespect the game by disrespecting my coaches. I never disrespect the game by not giving everything. I don't give a shit how much money you paying me because remember, I used to play this for free. You know what I'm saying? To try to get a point to make money. So the main thing has always got to remain the main thing. Because when the main thing becomes not the main thing and the peripheral shit becomes more important than the main thing, you're not going to be able to do the peripheral shit too much longer because you're going to lose the main thing. That's allowing you to do those peripheral things, right?
Yeah, I hear you. Kenny, did you ever find yourself being starstruck at all, like even during the 96 Olympics? Because, there is a lot of athletes, a lot of talented athletes.
Yeah, no. 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 That probably is my biggest, positive about competing. I really didn't give two shits about celebrity or celebrities in general. I already knew most people already through my relationships growing up. that were pretty powerful, billionaires, people, just ridiculous friends and powerful people. So they keep you grounded. So to see somebody like a Jordan walk down or say what's up, blah, 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 it's not starstruck. And I train with, like I said, Jackie Joyner, Gail Devers, Quincy Watts, Carl Lewis, blah, blah, blah. I mean, those are just track and field folks. And then how that umbrella goes to everybody else, celebrity-wise, whether it's singers, actors, blah, blah, blah. I never really thought of people as being celebrities to me. I mean, when I walk in a room, for sure, I believe I am the celebrity. So that's not an arrogant thing. It's just like, I just don't look at other people and get starstruck for their titles. So I tell that to anybody. I don't care what your title is. You're a human. So it doesn't matter. Yeah. So I've never been starstruck, but I've met many stars and have very cool relationship with people who are quote unquote stars. So not a big deal.
Not a big deal, yeah.
What about you guys?
You know what? Doing this podcast stuff in the beginning made me pretty nervous. Now I sit down, it's like no big deal. I mean, I didn't prepare for today. I'm not going to lie. Had to work all day though. The podcast kind of came up. The idea came up quickly. And maybe that was something to do with it, was that there wasn't too much time to think and sit back and be like, I'm doing a podcast today with Kenny Harrison. I should be a little, I don't know, maybe uptight about it.
You're supposed to be regular, like normal.
Right. And thank you. And we're having a regular conversation. And having Dante with me to do these podcasts has definitely made it a lot easier for me, because I mean, we're just regular people. We're just shooting the breeze, right? So
and great information that is not all about what your bling is and what your title is and everything else. It's just information that will help other people down the road. That whether it's a young kid or an older kid or whomever, it's just sharing actual factual things that have happened. And if you find it interesting, great. If not, in my opinion, oh well.
Yeah.
So
right. And I think honestly too, kind of, having you say that is, for me, it's about being in the moment and what can I learn from you during this podcast, and what can I take from it, and how can I make myself become a better person with what you've shared with me tonight. And those are the things I try to focus on in a podcast. And I really think that's helped me along as well. So yeah, you guys are awesome. I appreciate it, man. I could talk to you guys all night, of course, and I appreciate the time. And if you guys need anything else from me down the road, blah blah blah, or you need help securing some other famous world-class athletes, you can for sure give me a call, and I can shoot you guys over to some people that I'm sure you guys will enjoy. Like the Andre Carters and those kind of folks that I think get lost in the shuffle as having longevity and everything like that. So, and Dante, of course, knows most of those folks anyway. But thank you. I really appreciate that, Kenny. That means a lot to us. We definitely enjoyed talking with you tonight, and I appreciate you taking the time to join us on the podcast. You guys also. The triple jump is coming up. They're going to try to break my record in the next 2 days, I believe. So we're having a Don't Break Kenny Harrison record party. So Olympic gold medal party. So it's lasted for 28 years. So if they don't break it this time, it will be 32. So it'll be one of the longest Olympic records in history. So pay attention. If they do break it, great. If they don't break it, I'm going to be hard to deal with. On the road. I'll be there in spirit, Kenny. I will be at that party in spirit, and I'll watch it, definitely. I'll be paying attention, definitely. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate it. I will talk to you guys soon. Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Inside the Minds podcast with Dante Marsh and Ryan Hyde. Check out our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter accounts to see our upcoming show announcements, links to our previous shows, and sound bites. And don't forget to hit that follow button while you're there.
Hey, this is Logan Bandy.
Hi, this is Zane Frazier.
This is Art Jimerson.
Chris Rainey.
This is Boots Electric, and thank you for joining me on my special guest spot on Inside the Minds podcast, where everybody wants to be if they're smart.
Good field position start, play action. Burr's going to load it up, but he's short on the throw. Intercepted. Dante Marsh has his 30th career interception and a good return back into Ottawa territory. Well, the usually strong-armed Henry Burris comes up short.